Okay, we are on Eruvin, Perek Aleph, Mishnah Hey, fifth Mishnah in the first chapter of Eruvin. In our last Mishnah, we talked about how wide does the Korah have to be. We're talking about, here, I'm borrowing a picture that we had before. This is a lechi, so I'm going to make a Korah, right? I'm using an imaginary Korah. I'm here in my Microsoft Word program, so you'll have to just kind of bear with me, but that's okay. It's rudimentary, but it's good enough. So in the last Mishnah, we said that it had to be wide enough. We said 2 Mishnah ago, we said it had to be wide enough to hold in a riach that was 1.5 tefachim wide. And the question we asked ourselves was, does it have to be strong enough to hold it, or just wide enough? And so that was a machloket that we had in the Mishnah between the Tanakama, who said it had to be not only, Mishnah Dalid, had to be bri'ah kedei lekabel ariach, had to be strong enough. Rabbi Yehuda says it also has to be rechava, it has to be wide, af al pi she'en bri'ah, even though it's not strong enough. So our Mishnah is a continuation of that Mishnah. Our Mishnah says the following. Let's read it here. Haita shel kash o shel kanim. So this is Rabbi Yehuda. Rabbi Yehuda is saying this. If it was of straw or reeds, i.e., very weak, ro'inu on tokilu hu matechet. It's straw. You have to look at it as if it's matechet, as if it's metal. So this thing, as long as it's wide enough, you made it of reeds or whatever. It can't hold a brick. It would buckle. Nonetheless, Rabbi Yehuda says, look at it as if it's metal and as if it would stay straight. It doesn't have to be strong. You can imagine that as if it's like metal. Mishnah continues. Akuma. Let's say it's crooked. Okay. Ro'ino ta ki'ilu hi pshuta. Akuma normally means crooked. So the Vishinantam, this is the Daf Yomi, they have pictures. Okay? So I'm not going to use their pictures because I don't have permission to use them yet. I'm trying to get permission. Nonetheless, I'm just going to imagine, I'm using what I found on the internet. Okay, so they describe Akuma as crooked, sideways. So let's say the Korah is crooked, sideways in such a way that the brick would fall off. So the Mishnah says, Ro'in ota ki'ilu hi pshuta. You look at it as if it's straight. Meaning you draw an imaginary line. One second. Let's copy it and paste it. We'll draw it. Now if we make it crooked, and if it was crooked and it wouldn't be able to stand, so the commentaries say you look at it as if it's crooked. You draw an imaginary line across. He says, imagine the line from the bottom here, and as long as it's not too low or whatever, you can get under it. Since the line is over here, it's interesting what happens if it goes 20 amot. We're not going to talk about that. But it says, you look at it as if it's straight. It doesn't technically have to be able to literally hold the brick. Make it a little bigger. Let's see. Yes, we can. It doesn't literally have to be able to hold the brick. As long as you have an imaginary line, as if it was straight, that's enough. Then that's good enough. The Mishnah continues. Agula, ru'inota ki'ilu himirubat. Same thing is true. Let's say, there we go. You have a round beam. Okay, so instead we're going to move this guy out of here. You can move these two guys. Let's delete that. Okay, you have a round one. So you say, well, you can't put a brick on top of a round beam. It'll fall off. So what do? So the Mishnah says the following. You look at it as if it's mirubat. So how wide does it have to be? Kosh yesh behekefo shlosha tefachim. So if it has a circumference of 3 tefachim, yesh barochav tefach. Rudimentary mathematics that we learn in the Mishnah. If it's a circumference of 3, then it has the width of a tefach. How do they know this? Kolomar, meaning ve'ezer midata agula lachshir. What's the size of the round pole to make it kasher? Kol sheyesh be'kefa shlosha tefachim. If it has a circumference of 3, you need a string of 3 tefachim to get around the beam. Then you know that the width is a tefach. How do you know this? In the Beit HaMikdash, Shlomo HaMelech, he made a pool. So the pasuk says it was 10 amot from one side to the other. Gotta love the internet. You can find basically anything. So you find in the psukim that it said it was 10 amot from one end to the other. It had a base of these animals. If you look in the Nevi'im, okay. So the pasuk says it was eser ba'ama misvato saviv. Okay, it was 10 amot from one to the other. Saviv v'kav shloshim ba'ama yisovoto saviv, and a line of 30 amot would go around. Alma. So we see L'chol ama rocha be'igul, ika shalosh amot hekef. And as we know, anybody knows from, let me make this smaller, from rudimentary mathematics, even my children know that, okay, the circumference of a circle is the circumference is pi d. Pi times the radius. The radius is 3 point, where we go, is, I don't know how to write that. Anyway, everybody knows it. Circumference of a circle is pi times diameter, pi d, pi times the diameter, which is exactly what the Mishnah says. Now, the Mishnah is not saying pi, it's 3.14. Kahati says that we're talking about the Mishnah rounds out. They're not talking about advanced mathematics. But I always like it. It's always nice when the Mishnah talks a little bit about the intelligence of Nunifam Besukim. This is something we know in general also. That in order for the beam to be kosher, it has to have a circumference of 3. That's not good. It has to have a circumference of at least 3 tvachim around. We'll stop here. If you have any comments or questions, as always, you can email me at arspotra@gmail.com, and we'll dedicate our learning to the memory of my father, Rav Simcha ben Yitzchak Kalman. Have a great day.